What's going on, guys? Jacob Worth back here with another video of Jacob's Life in Vegas, coming to you guys from downtown Las Vegas. You guys see there's the Ogden right here, El Cortez. See the D right over there. I'm just about, what, I guess 2.5 blocks north of Fremont Street, so just north of Stewart. It's in this empty lot over here. You guys see the Circa going up. So you go up that way, it's not so pretty. There's not a whole lot to see. We see City Marshal got their police station right over there. And actually, and Metro has one of theirs right over here too. So a little bit different spot. Never filmed here before, but you know, I'm right here in the heart of downtown. So what we're going to be talking about today, guys, is an update of what's been going on here in Southern Nevada in about the past week or so. So I wanted to give you guys one of these update videos. Thought it'd be worthwhile to do. And because of that, I'm going to say, if you guys have not subscribed to the channel yet, please go ahead and do so. I can see probably about 2/3 of the people who watch these videos are not subscribed. So it does take me some time. It takes me a while to put all this together, compile it for you, and present it in a nice condensed video. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe, because there's going to be a whole lot more coming in the future. So let's talk Las Vegas. Let's talk Southern Nevada here. What's been going on recently? I know there's some optimism and people are pretty happy about things like the bars being back open now and all that. That has been changed recently since that mandate has changed since we've reopened. But let's talk about a few other things going on with Las Vegas, because there's some good, there's some bad, and there's just some bizarre, but it's kind of how it goes around here. So numbers, let's get into that first when it comes to numbers here in Southern Nevada. Now, more visitors came to Las Vegas in August, but far below the level of 2019. The Las Vegas Convention Visitors Authority on Wednesday reported a 1.537 million people visited Southern Nevada that month, 57% less than in August 2020, but a 6.9% increase, or 6.9% more than the 1.438 million recorded a month earlier. And they do a good screenshot here of some of the important numbers from August 2020 to August 2019 of a year ago. You see, which numbers are down, which is all of them. But visitor volume is down by over 55%. Citywide occupancy, less than half what it normally is or was this time a year ago. Air passengers down 61%. That's going to be important because we're going to talk about that a little more later in this video. Average daily highway auto traffic is only down 4.3%. So that means that we have a lot of people who are not able to fly in right now or visit here from other states or other countries right now, but our drive-in traffic, probably the majority of which comes from California. After that, probably Arizona, and then maybe from Utah, around the northern Nevada, or just other states, people doing drive-in trips, things like that. So that's really not that different. So we're heavily reliant on drive-in traffic right now to Las Vegas. And then the gaming revenue is down about 25% from what it was in August of 2019. So there's some stuff to be happy about, but then we still have a long way to go when it comes to our numbers here. Now, one thing that is definitely hurting us right now, this is an article that came out earlier, was China's Golden Week as a wash for Las Vegas this year. One of the busiest travel months for Chinese tourists is expected to be a wash for Las Vegas in 2020 because of the virus. The week-long National Day holiday, also known as Golden Week, kicks off October 1st each year and celebrates the founding of the People's Republic of China. While millions of Chinese tourists typically use the holiday to travel abroad, including Las Vegas, travel restrictions are keeping them closer to home this year. Now, this is important because you hear about the numbers in terms of how much money and how much of an impact Chinese tourists have on Las Vegas. It says China was the 7th largest country of origin for international travelers in Las Vegas last year, bringing in just over 200,000 people, or 3.6% of the total international visitation. Chinese tourists spent on average roughly $3,127 during their trip to the U.S. in 2018, according to the LVCVA, while the average overseas visitor spends just over $2,000 per trip. So Chinese tourists who come here to the U.S. tend to typically spend, looking at those numbers, more than 50% more than just the average international traveler. So, not having those hundreds of thousands of people visit Las Vegas from China, it definitely hurts us right now. Now, as we move forward to talking about how that's hurting us and how, other things we're trying to fight through here in Southern Nevada. A big one that happened, again, just recently, was the fact that over 2,000 McCarran-based employees are to be out of work starting Thursday. So just in the last few days, this has taken place. Some of you have mentioned this either in the comments section of my videos or on a live stream about all the workers at McCarran who are going to be, losing their job. Airline and airport-related companies are set to furlough or lay off at least 2,123 workers at McCarran International Airport as early as Thursday. Those employees are among the more than 40,000 across the nation set to lose their jobs starting Thursday. Now, here's what's significant about that number. So over 40,000 people, it says, across the country are going to be losing their job who work, are working in airports or airline-related jobs. Just over 5%, if you look at the number 2,123 and, use the number 40,000 exactly, even though the numbers are going to be a little bit different, but use those two numbers right there, just over 5% of the nation's total airline layoffs are happening right here in Vegas. Just over 5% of that is coming from right here in Las Vegas, even though Clark County only accounts for about 0.7% of the U.S. population. So here in Southern Nevada, we are being disproportionately impacted. We are suffering a bigger negative impact than arguably just about any other city when it comes to the airline industry and comes to the travel industry and people who work in airlines or airports being hurt by this. So that's another thing we're going to have to fight through here going forward in Southern Nevada. Now, something else that has changed around here that some people are probably happy to hear is that Governor Steve Sisolak opens door for Las Vegas fans to return. So this is one that will probably be quite a debate about some of the restrictions and mandates we've had here in Nevada that have come out of Carson City since all this pandemic stuff began earlier this year. UNLV and the Lights didn't waste time responding to Governor Steve Sisolak's announcement on Tuesday that he was creating a path for Las Vegas area sports events to begin admitting fans. UNLV hopes to sell tickets for up to 6,500 fans for its football games at 65,000-seat Allegiant Stadium. That's 10% of capacity, the current limit, according to Sisolak's new guidelines. So people can go to games, but Governor Sisolak has set the limit that they can only be 10% capacity in these stadiums. And like UNLV, the Raiders could take advantage of the new rules to allow fans into one of the NFL's newest and most spectacular stadiums. But Raiders owner Mark Davis said on Friday he is still holding true to his initial comment that it's either all fans or no fans at Raiders games at Allegiant Stadium for the 2020 season. So, the Raiders, if they wanted to, or say, Mr. Davis, if he wanted to, could allow 6,500 fans to be there to watch the games, in person, but he's sticking to what he said. He's either going to be 65,000 strong and we're going to have that stadium packed, or it's going to be nothing. He said he wants an all or nothing approach to this. So, I'm sure there's some fans who, are going to say, hey, just is what it is. That's unfortunate, but I'm sure there's going to be others who especially paid for their season tickets who they want to be one of those 6,500 who could hopefully watch one of the games. Now, continuing on with the Raiders and what's going on with them, this is something that came out that when I saw this in the news, I was, not something you see in the news every day, but the NFL has actually given the Las Vegas Raiders a $50,000 fine for unauthorized access. It says the Raiders have been fined $50,000 for allowing a non-credentialed employee into the locker room following a win against the New Orleans Saints at Allegiant Stadium on September 21st. It says this is in addition to no mask fines for Coach John Gruden of $100,000 and the team of $250,000 from the same game. So here's the restriction the NFL has put on teams when it comes to this virus. In an attempt to limit exposure to the virus, NFL teams may have no more than 40 employees enter the locker room, and those employees must be limited to coaches, medical staff, equipment staff, the general manager, one security personnel, and one media relations personnel, plus up to 3 ownership representatives. So, some good news for the Raiders, who've been off to a good start so far when it comes this early in the NFL season. Some bad news when it comes to some of the fines we're getting. So $50,000 for having someone in the locker room that the NFL, believes was in there that shouldn't have been in there. That hurts, but I guess if your brand is worth, a few $1 billion, then $50,000, I guess, isn't too much of a pain. But that's what's going on here in Southern Nevada right now. what we have going on here in Las Vegas. I know a lot of you are still thinking about coming here. Some of you have canceled trips or you're waiting on trips and things like that to do in the future. So we do have some changes going on, being able to go to sporting events. So the bars have already been reopened for some time now, but there are still restrictions in place. So for sporting events, there's restrictions in place. Capacity restrictions at these hotels and casinos. They can only allow so many people in there, going to restaurants, things like that. So we're making some progress in some areas, but 2,000 people plus losing their jobs, over at McCarran National Airport doesn't help us much either. So there's some good, there's some bad, but that is the current situation we are living in right now here in Southern Nevada. So I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this video. Thank you for being so awesome. I will put another video right over there that you guys can check out. See you in that video. I am Jacob, and this is my life in Vegas.